Hey, my name's Kate from Key Career Coaching. Welcome to my mini CV guide. Okay, the first thing that needs to be on your CV, obviously, is your name. So you don't need the words curriculum vitae on there. Just make sure your name is kind of really prominent at the top, preferably in bold, maybe in capitals, and then no one can mistake it for anyone else. I suggest you put your contact details as a header. So that way you're taking up less space on your CV overall, and it means that it defaults to every page that you make, so it just keeps things nice and neat and easy. Make sure you include your phone number as well as email, and if you're on LinkedIn, you could actually include the link for that as well, and then they can see more about your career history if they want to. Okay, so starting with your most recent relevant experience, which is probably going to be your professional experience, you can see it's good to kind of again, have a nice clear heading in bold, underlined, and keep that system and format the same throughout. Then I suggest having the dates, the name of your organisation, and your actual job title. Again, all in bold, and keep the same format throughout. Underneath, have some bullet points, and this is where you'll have the sort of information about what you've been doing. So everything should be in reverse chronology in terms of your experience. So you start with your most recent experience and work your way back in time. And as a general rule, I'd say the further back in time you go, the less detail you actually give. So for each thing, you want to include the most relevant details of the role. So not necessarily a list of everything you did in your job, but think about what it is you're applying for and what would be most important things for them to know about. And make sure you're emphasising any key achievements or specific outcomes, specific skills that you've gained from this role. If you've got a long career history, focus the detail on your more recent experiences and think about having a cut-off about 10 to 15 years. I'd say for experiences sort of prior to 15 years, you could include a summary. So you've got the dates, the types of organisations that you work for, and a general summary of the skills and experiences that you've gained there. And then you can just put in brackets details and requests so they can get more if they want it, but they're not bogged down in pages and pages and pages of irrelevant stuff. So moving on to your education. Again, keep that same format, so dates, institution name, qualification type, and include the grades. Now here, you don't need to go back to GCSEs or primary school or anything like that. Keep it with sort of degree level or what you left school with. And again, how far back in time you go is going to depend on your situation. It might be relevant to include details of some of the modules that you studied or your research interests, your thesis title, that kind of stuff. So if it is, again, as above, just some nice clear bullet points. This works better than lengthy paragraphs, a more narrative approach. I think keeping it punchy like this, you can clearly see what you've done, where you did it, and the different kind of responsibilities and skills that you gained. Another section you might have is interests and achievements. So this could be if you're involved in sort of volunteering in the community, perhaps you belong to a club or something where you do a personal interest, or maybe you're really into lifelong learning and you've been sort of learning something online or at the local education centre. This sort of is a really nice thing to include on your CV because as well as developing really great skills, this also demonstrates something about your character and your interest in your professional development. So, whether it's sort of being on board of governors in your school or on the PTA, or as I said, it might just be art classes or something. I think this is a good place to put that and sort of show what you've been doing with your time. You might also have a section on additional skills. This is entirely optional, don't feel you have to have it. But if you've got skills but you're not sure where else they fit into, such as languages, this is a good place to put them. Make sure you include the fluency level. Could be a good place to talk about IT if you've not mentioned that before. Worth mentioning specific software packages, and if you've been involved in things like maintaining a database, that sort of stuff, that could be useful to include. Sometimes people have first aid certificates. Driving license could be relevant if you're going for a job like social work where you might have to drive to different appointments or home visits and things. So just think about if it's relevant, include it. If not, don't bother. And on that point about relevance, that's the key to the CV, okay? You want to keep it concise, so no longer than 2 pages, and they don't need to know stuff like your age, date of birth, your gender, your nationality, your religion, your marital status. Anything like that is just not relevant. It's just about the experience you've got and the skills that you've gained. Okay, I hope you found that useful. Thanks for listening. If you would like to hear more videos and tips, then check out my website, which is keycareercoaching.co.uk. Bye for now.